appreciate it. Let me ask you the first question. Now, we are taking a look at the MTN FA Cup results and the exit of some of the big clubs in connection with the break in GPL. For Accra Suffolk, they lost to Golden Kicks. Some of their communicators have been saying that it's because of the break that they lost that particular game against Golden Kicks. Mediama Sporting Club, a Premier League side, also lost to Park Academy. Could you say that it's because of the break in the Ghana Premier League season that led to the defeat of some of the big guys in the Premier League?
Well, thank you once again for having me. If you ask if the break is responsible for the exits of Accra Suffolk, Mediama Sporting Club, the Bienigo Stars, as you mentioned,
Yeah.
I would say in some part it played a role, but it has to do with not just the break, but how clubs conducted themselves and how they were able to prepare themselves to be in the position to be ready to play as and when we were ready for competitive action. It is what they did that matters, not actually the break that caused it, because there were some teams to break, but they did qualify. For instance, Bechem United and the others. Now, there are certain explanations that we need to give out there to make everything clear. Now, when clubs are playing the season, they gather a certain momentum, and it is based on the set plan that coaches have drawn for the season. Now, the season encompasses various weeks of playing football and also days of training. Now, you need to train. So there are two different things.
Okay.
There is the fitness you get in training and the fitness you get from playing matches. So the atmosphere, the environment, everything that revolves around training is quite different from what also pertains to what happens during matches. Now, during the break, what the clubs and their players lost out was on the match day fitness.
Okay.
But what they didn't actually miss out was on the training fitness. Now, we play football with our mind. So the psychological aspect of it is that the moment a player programs in his mind that he's not going to play a match, he's just training for training's sake, it limits to an extent what he can actually do or what he will do to make sure he hits or he reaches a certain peak in terms of the fitness levels. So what happened was that for clubs who also eased their training model or program because the league was not in session, had players who automatically withdrew some level of commitment in terms of committing towards training to be in a certain position or level where they'll be ready to play matches. So most of these clubs were caught unaware, sort of. Their players were not ready, and it showed in the games that they played. For instance, Mediama were at home against Park Academy.
Yeah.
Now, Park FC were playing Division 1 League matches.
Exactly.
So their players satisfied the aspect of fitness in training and then fitness in matches. So it helped them to get to a certain level in terms of being in peak or prime physical conditioning to be facing Mediama. So if you check, Gold Stars were eliminated by a Division 1 League side.
Yeah.
But how was the elimination process like? The game proceeded beyond the 90 minutes.
Yeah.
In the case of Mediama, it was a similar outcome. In the case of Accra Suffolk, a similar outcome. It points towards one thing. Their physical shape and conditioning was not top enough to match up to the levels that were delivered by these Division 1 League sides. So if you ask me if the break played a role, not necessarily because of tactical reasons or technical reasons, but for the physical aspect and their conditioning, they were not up to the level that the Division 1 League sides offered, and it cost them. So that is it.
All right, so from the FA Cup, let's quickly shift our attention to the Ghana Premier League. Now, looking at the proposal submitted by Asante Kotoko and Hearts in terms of security measures. Now, looking at what happened during the games of the FA Cup, we saw some security men at the stadium, at the inner perimeter, in the stands. Do you think that going forward is the same thing that is going to happen in the Ghana Premier League, or you think that it's just some shenanigans just for the beginning?
What we saw satisfied the PR aspect of everything that has unraveled since that February 2nd incident. The PR aspect has to do with the fact that there needs to be a certain image, a certain level of reportage out there that convinces that average Ghanaian footballer who is a bit scared to go to the football venue now. Okay, so I just heard on radio, I just saw on TV, or I just read in the print or online that there was maximum or massive security presence at various FA Cup matches. It brings back that kind of confidence and trust that, okay, I can go there and I'll actually not be in danger. But the reality aspect is that what we've actually lacked has not to do with just the presence of police personnel or security personnel. It has had to do with the implementation and then the resetting of our mindsets. The resetting of our mindsets will cater for the clubs who empower or just hide behind some of these hooligans to do everything that they do. So we need to reset our mindsets. If we have to ensure there is safety and security at match venues,
All right.
it is not just the duty of the police personnel. It is about the clubs, the administrators, and everybody that plays a direct role in the running of a game during a typical match day. For the police personnel, they will be there, but I think that the enforcement aspect also needs to come to bear. Whatever training that they went through to be in a position to be ready to go and then supervise games in that order, they will need to enforce it and not just go there and be
All
spectators. So
right.
what we saw was pleasing. What we saw was very positive, but I think we still have a long way to go if we actually have to clamp down on
Okay.
hooliganism at our match venues.
All right. Let me have your sincere take on this. This week we've seen the club licensing board going around the various match venue. Now let me ask you: should the GPL be zoned or not? Some are saying that it should be zoned. Do you think it should be zoned? Looking at the conditions of some of the venues.
We've not gotten there yet. I think in previous times where we've actually had to zone the league had to do with serious issues that led to playing a competitive league as a box sort of not being possible. But we've not gotten there yet. A fan died yet. It is pathetic yet, but it is not so extreme to the extent that we think about zoning. And does zoning actually solve the issues? No. Because
Okay.
if you do zone them, there will definitely be that penchant or penchant for violence, especially if you don't tackle the issues that lead to the violence we witness at match venue. So I think this is a typical case of suffering a headache, but the headache has been caused by an underlying sickness. In
Exactly.
this case, you don't just apply palliative measures, you tackle the underlying sickness and then you also cater for the symptoms that will arise as a result of the sickness.
All right, thank you so much, Michael Asare Boadu, for your time with ABC News Ghana. We'll come to you for more analysis when the when